So welcome to MMU SCA Database Company. So my name is Engku Faiz. So I'm proud of serve as the system administrator. So this is my team for cybersecurity department. So you guys can introduce yourself.
My name is Yana Putran. I will be the security engineer for this company.
I'm Sudrin as a security architect.
My name is Haziq. I am as a cybersecurity consultant.
Go to the next slide. So first step for this our assessment is to conduct this risk assessment is to intention to determine the potential risk of vulnerabilities that are associated in this organization. So the purpose of the process of risk assessment is to identify the vulnerabilities, the threat, the risk severity, and the risk treatment by carrying out the procedure. So next. Okay. So this is our objective here for the risk assessment. And next. So as you can see here, this is the key asset overview. So as you can see there, the SCADA network and node. So this thing is crucial for monitoring and controlling the core of manufacturing operation. Is to ensure that our company operation runs safely and efficiently and maintain the compliance with legal requirement. And then for the data storage, include the organization critical data stored on the file server, either it's individual or the database file. This data encompass the production result and contracts, the personal record, and the backups. Next, for the key system. So this system are integral to the company daily operation. So any compromise that can disrupt the business process and impact the financial stability. And the last one is the key asset that we want to overview is email, which is the used extensively for internal and external communication in the organization, especially with the adoption of Microsoft Office 365, which is to ensuring the integrity and security vital for company data privacy. So next, I will explain the vulnerabilities for SCADA network and nodes, which is the first one is outdated firmware or software. So SCADA system often run on outdated software, which can leave them vulnerable to exploit that have been fixed in newer version. Second one is poor security measures. So SCADA networks were designed for isolated environment, lacking modern security measures like firewalls, and also intrusion detection system and encryption protocols. And also the last one, vulnerability for SCADA network is lack of regular updates and patches. So without consistent updates, SCADA system become vulnerable to newly discovered threats. So this can be very problematic as SCADA system are critical to production activities. Next. So this is the three main risks that this one of the risk register for SCADA network, which is unauthorized access by the hackers, which is the hackers gaining the authorized access can lead to the data breaches, system manipulation, and also the destruction of critical infrastructure. So the likelihood that the impacts, the rated for the likelihood is 2, which is low. and the impact for hackers is 4, which is high. So the conclusion is the risk severity is moderate severity. So the treatment for this problem is includes the implementing significant network security measure like firewall, intrusion detection system, and also the encryption protocols. That's the second one for risk register for SCADA network is malware attack. Just the malware attack is the malicious software that could infiltrate the SCADA network. So this thing can compromise its security and the integrity. So the rated for likelihood and the impact is for the likelihood is 3, which is the moderate. And for the impact is 3 also, which is moderate. So the conclusion for this risk severity is moderate, and the treatment for this problem is involve the network segmentation and access restriction to limit malware spread and contain the infection. Next, the last one. So the last one for risk register for SCADA network is insider attack. So the insider attack is the authorized individual within the organization could intentionally damage or breach the security protocols in the organization. So the likelihood rate for this problem is 2, which is low, and the impact to the organization is high, which is 4. And the risk severity is moderate, and the treatment for this risk is implementing the access restriction for the employees, and segregation of duties, and also the monitoring user activity in the organization. So we can proceed to next key asset, which is the data storage. So Ran.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Jana Putran, and I'm excited to present on the critical aspect of cybersecurity risk assessment with the focus on data storage vulnerabilities. So firstly, we'll talk about the factor of not encrypting enough data. In today's digital age, data is one of the most valuable assets for any organization. Ensuring the security of data storage is paramount to protect sensitive data information from unauthorized access and breaches. Today, we will dive into common vulnerabilities in data storage, associated threats, and effective strategies to mitigate these risks. So firstly, our first vulnerability is the insufficient encryption of data. Encryption is essential for protecting data and protecting the stored information. Without adequate encryption, unauthorized individuals can easily access sensitive data stored on file servers. This can lead to data breaches, exposing confidential information, and causing significant financial and reputational damage to the organization. Next is poor control over access and user authentication. We have proper access control methods and robust user authentication mechanisms are crucial to restrict access to sensitive data. Inadequate access control and user authentication can allow unauthorized users to access sensitive data and can result in data breaches as well as modification or deletion of critical information. Next is inadequate backup systems. So the third major vulnerability, which the inadequate backup system, is essential to protect against data loss due to hardware failures, cyber attacks, or accidental deletion. Poorly maintained backup systems can result in permanent loss of important data. This can result in disruption of business continuity and lead to financial loss or damage of the organization's reputation. So I'll just briefly talk about the data breaches. So data breaches is basically the unauthorized access to sensitive data, which can lead to exposure of confidential information, legal issues, and also financial losses. So the likelihood and the impact of this is rated as 3, moderate for both. And the risk severity is also, since it's a moderate severity, the treatment includes in improving encryption method and implementing a robust access control and multi-factor authentication. The second one is ransomware attack. Ransomware, which can encrypt important data, making it inaccessible and causing operational delays until the ransom is paid or backups are recovered. So the likelihood of this is also 3 for impact, and the likelihood and the impact is also 3, which is moderate. So the severity is at moderate level. So the treatment can include using regular data backup to secure location and also performing regular security assessment and audit. So lastly, we'll talk about unauthorized data access. The inadequate access to controls can allow unauthorized users to modify, delete critical data, affecting the data integrity and business operation. The likelihood or an impact of this is rated as 2 for both, and this risk severity is actually low. So the treatment includes using trusted and secure data storage options and conducting regular security training for employees. That's all for my part. Thank you.
So there are 3 things that we need to look into for key system vulnerabilities. So the first one is the software vulnerabilities. These critical systems may have unpatched software vulnerabilities, which makes them susceptible to exploits. And next is the network security weakness. And so inadequate network security measures can allow attackers to gain access to the system through network-based attacks. And lastly will be insufficient access control systems. So without the proper access control, unauthorized individuals may access sensitive systems, posing both external and internal attacks. Next slides. So let's move to cyber attacks. Cyber attacks can disrupt this critical system, which could lead to operational disruption, financial loss, and potential in data breaches. So likelihood and impact will be rated as 2, which is low for likelihood, and 4, which is high for an impact. So the risk and severity treatment will be moderate severity, which is the treatments includes in implementing network security measures like VPNs and security firewalls, and maybe regularly updating and patching software systems. Next. So let's move to the insider sabotage. Insider sabotage with malicious intentions might cause a damage or disrupt important systems, which will affect the organization's functionality. This this insider sabotage will likelihood rate as 2, which is also low, and 4, which is moderate for impact for this insider sabotage. So it is also the moderate severity, which is the treatment includes setting up strong access rules, regularly reviewing access, and ensuring there are backup and emergency plans. Next. So last one will be the hardware issues. Malfunction hardware can cause a critical system to fail, leading to a significant operational delays and financial loss. This is also rated as 2 for likelihood and a 3 for impact, which is moderate. So the risk and severity treatment, the risk severity is moderate, and the treatment involves in continuously monitoring system performance and security, also conducting periodic audits and compliance checks. I will pass to Sutton for the emails.
All right. Thanks, Aziz. For the matter, I'm Sutton. So I'll go through the email vulnerabilities. Next. So the first one is phishing attack. So phishing attempts often target users of Office 365 system. Users must be properly trained to identify and avoid these attacks. So the weak password, user may use easily guessable password if password policies are not strengthened enough. Incorrect security configuration, misconfigured security settings in Office 365 can create vulnerabilities leading to data breaches or unauthorized access. So the second one is data leakage. So misconfigured email settings can lead to accidental data leakage, compromising sensitive information. So the likelihood was rated as 2, low, and then the impact is 4. Impact is 2, which is low also. Risk, severity, and treatment. Low severity. Treatments include regularly reviewing and updating security configuration and encrypting sensitive communications and data. Then the third one is a platform outage. So outage email service can disrupt business communications and operations, affecting productivity. So the likelihood is rated as 1, which is low, and then impact is rated as 2, which is low also. So the risk, severity, and treatment, low severity. Treatment involve monitoring platform usage and activity for suspicious behavior and establishing clear incident response protocol for data breaches.
So, I will explain about our purposes for our countermeasure. So, next slide. So, our purpose of countermeasure is to identify the policies, the procedure that related to the MMU SCA database company, which is our company, which is a local operation for large global mining company. So the countermeasure process is aimed at finding the policies, the procedures, and the control, also the people that. Okay, next. So this is the policy for SCADA network. So the first one is access control policy. For the description for this policy is to define the level of access for different user roles within the SCADA system. And then the implementation, which is the implementation is implement the rule-based access control to ensure that users only have access to necessary function. And then last one is monitoring, which is we need to regularly review update access permission to reflect change in the roles and responsibilities. Also, the second one is the patch management policy, which is the description for this policy is to establish a process for regularly updating and patching SCADA software. And then how to implement this thing is to schedule the regular patch updates and the emergency patch for critical vulnerabilities. And this is to maintain a lot of apply patches and perform a regular update to ensure the compliance. Next. So this is the procedure for SCADA network, which is the first procedure is network security procedure. So description for this procedure is to start to secure the SCADA network against the unauthorized access. So how to implement this is to install a configure firewall, intrusion detection system, and also the execution protocols. So we need to regularly test network defense through the penetration testing and vulnerability assessment to make the procedure successful. And then the second one is incident response procedure. So the description for this procedure is to define the action to take in the event of the security branch. So we need to develop an incident response plan with a clear rules and responsibilities. So how to monitor this thing is to conduct a regular incident response drills and update the plan based on a lesson learned. Okay, so this is the two our plan controls to provide for this organization, which is the first one is technical controls. So the technical controls is, for example, like firewalls and encryption. So firewalls and IDS, which is to implement the firewall to filter traffic and IDS to detect the unauthorized activities. And for the encryption, we use encryption for data in transit and at rest to protect the sensitive information. And for the administrative control, we provide the training and awareness. So we conduct a regular security training session for employees for working with SCADA system. And the second one is access review, which is we plan to perform the predict reviews of success rate and adjust them based on the necessity. So I will give the next explanation to Ran.
Thank you, Faiz. So today I will continue to talk about the countermeasure for the data storage. So firstly, for the data, to counter these threats, we need to enhance our data encryption methods. We can use advanced encryption standards, AES, for data at rest and in transit, as it is vital. We can ensure that the encryption keys are managed securely, which prevents the unauthorized access. Even if physical access is available to the storage, it is gained. This actually, it protects the data from being accessed by unauthorized individuals. So basically, the data encryption policy mandates the use of encryption for all sensitive data stored on the servers. The way we implement this is by enforcing encryption standards, such as the AES 256 for all the stored data. We can regularly audit the encryption practice and also update the encryption keys periodically. We also have a backup policy, which defines the frequency and methods for backing up critical data. We implement this by a regular schedule of backups and store copies in an offsite secure location. We monitor this policy with a test backup regularly conducted to ensure the data can be restored when needed. The second part is we implement data access procedure. So for this, we need to implement a robust access control and multi-factor authentication to strengthen the access control methods and ensure that only authorized user can access the sensitive data. This requires multi-factor authentication, MFA, that adds an extra layer of security, reducing the risk of unauthorized access and enhancing overall security. So basically, the procedure is broken down into steps to manage and control the access to stored data. The implemented multi-factor authentication has very strict access controls, and it monitors the access logs and investigates any unauthorized access attempts. The next procedure is a data restoration procedure, which defines the process of restoring data from the backups. We can implement this by documenting and testing the restoration process regularly to ensure a quick recovery. We can monitor this by reviewing restoration logs and perform post-incident analysis to improve procedure. Lastly, we talk about technical controls. So technical controls in encryption, we apply encryption to all the sensitive data and regularly update the encryption algorithms. This will also include in implementing the MFA to use the least privilege principle to access the data and limit the access to data. And we also update the administrative controls where the data handling policies are established for proper data handling and also data disposal. We will provide training on data protection and also secure the data handling practices. To summarize, we've discussed the key vulnerabilities in data storage, including insufficient encryption, poor access control, and inadequate backup systems. We identified the associated threats for data breaches. And finally, we've outlined the effective countermeasures to mitigate this risk by enhancing encryption, implementing robust access control, and ensuring regular backups. I will pass to my friend for the next countermeasure.
So let's start with for key system. there will be a software update policy, which is it requires a regular updates and patching of all critical systems. So to implement it, we develop a patch management schedule and prioritize critical updates. And then we will monitor by tracking and document all updates and patches applied to the systems. Moving on to access control policy. This is, it defines access levels and ensures only authorized personnel can access the key systems. So we will use the RBAC and ensure the MFA is implemented for system access. And then we will monitor it regularly by reviewing the access permissions and adjust as necessary. Next slide. So system monitoring procedure. So we will do a continuous monitoring for the key systems to track the security threats. Then we will implement it by deploying a monitoring tools to track the system performance and security. So we will analyze the log and set up alerts for unusual activities for performance issues. So in the disaster recovery procedure, it is a steps to restore system and operation in case of a major incident. So we will develop a test and we will develop and test a disaster recovery plan, including a backup and restoration processes. So we will conduct a regular disaster recovery drills to ensure readiness. Next slide. So the technical controls, which is an antivirus and anti-malware, we will ensure all the systems is up to date, antivirus and anti-malware protections. For the VPN and firewalls, we will secure remote access through a VPNs and protects system with firewalls. So lastly is the administrative controls, which is system audits. We'll conduct regular audits to check for compliance with security policies. And we implement a access review, which periodically review and update access control based on user roles. I will pass to Sultan for emails.
So, thank you, Haziq. Okay, so for emails, we have two policies, email security policy and phishing prevention policy. So for email security policy, outlines the measures to protect email and communications and from threats. So for the implementation is enforce strong password policy, MFA, multi-factor authentications, and secure email configuration. We monitor regularly, audit email security settings and update them as needed. For phishing prevention policy, educates employees on identifying and avoiding phishing attempts. For implementation, we implement regular phishing awareness training and stimulated phishing attacks. And then we monitor by tracking the success of training programs and adjust based on the result. So for email, we have two procedure, email encryption procedure and incident response procedure. So for email encryption procedure is to step to ensure sensitive emails are encrypted. For implementation, we use secure email gateways and encryption tools for sensitive communication. To monitor, we review email logs and ensure encryption is applied where necessary. For incident response procedure, defines actions to take in the events of email security breaches. For implementations, we develop an incident response plan specifically for email-related incidents, and the monitor, we conduct regular incident response drill and update the plan based on findings. Next slide. Okay, so to control, technical control, we use secure email gateway, implement a secure email gateway to filter spam and malicious email, and then use encryption tools for sensitive emails to ensure data privacy. And then the second one is administrative control. Conduct regular training sessions on email security and phishing awareness, and then regular review and update email access permissions. So that's all from us for countermeasure. Thank you, Madam.